guys for believing in improving the workforce and professional development for cannabis professionals in Massachusetts. You guys being here means so much to us and our sponsors. So thank you all for participating today. I hope you're all excited for the panel. They're not panels. We're gonna make a video later where it's me just calmly saying, no, it's not a panel, and then like progressively getting to, it's not a panel. We are, this event is the brainchild of listening to so many people who have had difficult experiences working in cannabis for various companies, big companies, small companies, layoffs, being rehired just to be laid off again, and so many consultants we know these days who moved out of working as W-2 employees because it was overwhelming and they didn't have work-life balance, and people not being paid their value to these companies. So having you guys here to believe that all of those problems have solutions and that we are part of those solutions means everything. So round of applause for you guys for coming. Thank you. So we started, I guess in February, we launched a survey for the workforce, and we've been circulating it through YouTube and social channels, through Google Forms, pretty easy. You can see the QR code if you haven't filled it out. There's a QR code on the table tent in front of you, so you can scan that and go check it out right now if you want. And we took that information, we took all of those responses, both quantitative and qualitative, and used them to decide how and what we needed to talk about today. So these various rooms that you're gonna move into for the sessions will be conversations with you. It's very participatory. We want, you're gonna have a sheet in front of you, everybody gets a Nerds pen. Try to keep your phones away if you can help it, because stay focused and engaged in the conversation that's happening right there. So why are my co-hosts I'm so excited to be here today. I really am. I've been thinking about this for 2 years, so I'm just really happy we're all together. So the survey results, there were some really great responses. Like somebody from an anonymous company goes, "Why are we still open?" Another person from an anonymous company said, "How come MSOs get away with anything they want?" Another one said, there were some good ones. "Are the inspectors at the CCC blind?" A lot of people, a majority of respondents are highly concerned about their safety at work. There is inadequate OSHA safety training, and having people get up on ladders and not teaching them how to use a ladder is not really something you're supposed to do. Using a ladder seems basic enough, right? I have a stepdaughter who went to tech school, and I was trying to hang a picture in my living room. I got reamed out for not properly using a ladder in my own house. There's a lot more to these things than we have taken the time to focus on for the employees. A lot of these facilities, manufacturing facilities, cultivation facilities, using salts, nutrients, and other chemicals. Does everybody know how to, you see where the eye station is? Do you know how to use the eye station? Does anybody taught you how to use an eye wash station, or you just know it's there? So I said, there's the eye wash station, don't get stuff in your eyes. Things like that, breaking those down. So I'm really excited about, in particular, the OSHA panel will be talking about that. It's not a panel! Room, session, discussion, conversation. I'm gonna yell at myself all night for this, trust me. So after reading through the quantitative data, where we could see, we asked for basic demographic information, age, race, gender, how long you've worked in cannabis, how many companies you've worked for in that time, how how you feel about your company providing safety, how you feel about your workplace culture. And we're gonna do a much bigger breakout of all that data tomorrow morning. I do not have the schedule memorized in my head, so if you ask me what's where, I don't know. I'm only retaining at this point what's immediately in front of me. But you have schedules. So tomorrow morning we'll go into detail. We broke all of that data out and then we compared it. So looking at, one thing that I thought was interesting that we'll go into detail tomorrow, but the when we broke out responses to is there growth in your industry by age, the youngest cohort says no. The oldest cohort, which was 50 to 65, had like 70% yes, there's epic room for growth, which I thought was really interesting that, is this a generational difference? Is this, what's the perception here that 51 to 65-year-olds who, presumably would be like, okay, retirement's right around the corner, are like, no, I'm gonna grow in this industry. And 21-year-olds are like, yeah, I don't know, it's not great. So what are we doing there? It's kind of interesting. What else did we see? Let me stop saying. This was great. So the younger cohort across the board had a lower opinion of the companies they've worked for, but they're also the most likely cohort to advise their friends to work with them. And the older cohort that has the most room for growth is the least likely to invite their friends to work with them. So I thought that was really kind of interesting. So we're going to break all of that out and have long conversations about what that means and what the workforce is saying. I'm so excited about all of our presenters and our discussion hosts today. We've got training sessions. We're going to do management training. We've got HR training. We've got DEI training. We've got OSHA training. Very excited about these. And then, the rest is mostly conversation. So we want to hear back from you. We want the forms, when you go into the room, let us know when we go into hardware ranking and software ranking, I want to know what software you're using and do you like it? How long have you been using it? Are there other softwares that you've used? You've worked at 3 companies. Was the software there better than here? Let's have those conversations, break down the POS systems. What's working there? Let's talk about the environmental control systems. What's working? What's easy to use? What's causing the least amount of contamination in our cultivation facilities, et cetera. But there are a lot of people who have left the state. Massachusetts actually as a whole has a negative growth rate at the moment, I believe. More people are leaving the state than coming into it. And it probably speaks to the cost of living here more generally, but it definitely speaks to cannabis. We're looking at a lot of people being frustrated. From the survey results that we've received, there's a lot of people who are frustrated. From the conversations I'm sure you've all had, because you're all here, you understand that there are people that are frustrated. So how do we retain the institutional knowledge that people who've been working in this space for 3, 4, 5, 6 years, when they're at their wit's end with a new entrepreneur, how do we keep them here and engaged and sharing that and developing the next, I did a terrible job turning off my phone. How do we keep them engaged and training the next cohort that's coming, that's being hired? So it's a really interesting conundrum because this industry is growing and we can look at the numbers. The state will tell you we have $2.5 billion plus in sales now in Massachusetts, and every single place that we spoke to in moving this event, selling this event, and engaging, trying to get people into this event, every single place is like, we have no money, we are short-staffed. And how is it that we have $2.5 billion in cannabis sales and we have understaffed and underpaid employees throughout? So this can't be every entrepreneur in Massachusetts and cannabis industries can't be their fault, obviously. That's way too much to assume. But we could definitely look at the regulations. We can definitely look at the cost of doing business here. How are you finding solutions to, you know, money holes and money pits in cannabis? How are you finding solutions to, you know, having to pay for those metric tags? Or if you obviously have to pay for them, where are you having to cut because of it? How is that, in the end, affecting your bottom line? Where are these decisions being made? And I think once we have these conversations that we're going to have over the next 2 days and break out the details on what's going on in each of these businesses, we'll be able to say, okay, so we met with 5 companies and they all had this problem, and when we talked through their employees, how they're managing it, there's some really great solutions here. Because if we are one thing in the cannabis industry, it is resilient, and I'll say that through the surveys. The amount of people who are frustrated, aggravated, pissed off, and unhappy, they're not leaving. A lot of them are staying, and they're trying again to find the right company that's going to be a great fit for them. So we are resilient, we are smart, we are innovative, we are solution-driven cohort of professionals in cannabis, and we have to be, because we're fighting the federal government to operate these businesses. So I'm excited.
Yeah!
I didn't do this, certainly did not do this by myself. I am Maggie and Jess, thank God for them, have been through with me through this whole thing. So Jess Zambarano, Juicy Marketing, and Maggie Kinsella, Private.
Yeah!
Thank you for coming, you guys. We got really pumped about this, and we were hoping to fill this place up. So, you know, we haven't filled it up, but we think the most important thing is that everybody here just gets excited and gets to really know the people that are in your rooms with you, and let's build some new resources and learn some new things and make the most out of what we've got going here for the next couple of days.
Yes, we all have stories that we could share about our experiences in the industry. I started in 2014 at the weed school Cara ran, and then ended up in the industry in a couple different positions. I worked at one company for a year, and I was like, no thank you. I'll wait until I can actually be in a position where I'm not just, you know, having to do things that I think are deplorable. I've seen a lot, and so this is a solution. This is something that we think that, you know, if the government's not going to do things to make sure that we have what we need and we can get done, we're going to do it for ourselves, for each other.
Yes, queen.
That's what this collaboration is about. This is a plant. A plant's a plant. Cultivation is cultivation. Everyone has their own methodology, but there are best practices, so we know we don't want mold. No moldy weed. We don't want some of the other problems that we experience. We want to talk about the basics: trimming, taking care of plants, product manufacturing, what kind of tools do you use. And we've also made some really fun videos. If you follow our Instagram, we've done a lot of, we've put next to each other cannabis versus alcohol. We have the pharmacy we're going to do next, but it's really eye-opening when we look at how regulated this industry is, and the bare minimum training that goes into making sure that staff who are managing the product, that if something goes wrong, you can get in a lot of trouble. We should be taking care of our staff like they are working in the most regulated industry after healthcare. That's literally, I Googled it, so hopefully Google's not lying to me, but that's what I was like, oh wow, we really are one of the most regulated industries. So I thought that was really interesting. You can check those out. We want to have fun today. We know that training and education in school and all that stuff, but we can make it fun. We can come away with some best practices, and we're going to do it together. So thank you so much. I think that's